Hey, Lions fans! This feels like the Detroit we fell in love with, the team that hits, finishes, and makes Ford Field believe again. And tonight I've got a move across the league that puts our secondary plans under a bright light without killing the dream. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. I'm laying out the state of our safety room, how Kelvin Shepherd is building this defense around versatility and violence at the catch point, what just changed in the market, what a 6'1", 216-pound tone setter would actually do inside our big nickel and dime packages, how the cap math would work for a real contender. And at the right moment, I'll show you the twist that every NFC scout is talking about. Detroit sits in a strong place because the core identity is clear. Close windows fast, rally to the ball, limit explosives, and let the front four earn the right to rush on scheduled downs. Shepherd's blueprint uses safeties as movers, not placeholders. Branch is the star, the nickel who can crash the run, carry a slot on third down, or bait a quarterback into a late throw. Kirby Joseph handles space, reads eyes, and steals the ball when the pocket gets muddy. When both are fully rolling, coverage feels layered and the tackling feels organized. But the season has a grind, and that's where depth becomes the story in November. You saw it these past weeks. Branch managing the ankle, Joseph working through knee and ankle knocks, special teams lifers stepping in, and the staff protecting leverage by living in more too-high shells than they planned. I'm not throwing shade at the backups. I'm explaining how this defense is designed. It needs a third safety who can be a tight end eraser, live in the alley like a linebacker, and still hold up when the call spins late into split safety. That role turns red zone sevens into threes. That role closes fourth quarter seams. That role is exactly why tonight matters. Before I get to the twist, let me be transparent about value. In late October, the price you pay is not just the pick. It's the snap-to-fit number. If the player can walk in on Wednesday, speak the dime language by Friday, and hit on Sunday without blowing a seam read, you pay a premium. The wrong player, even a name, costs you communication. The right one gives Shepherd license to be greedy on 3rd and 5 and to load run fits without sacrificing the glance and the slot fade. Which brings us to the archetype. Physical, urgent, clean tackler, strong versus tight ends, comfortable in box-to-slot rotations, a safety who can blitz off the edge but also turn and find the ball. You know where I'm going. Kyle Dugger checks those boxes. He's lived in the box, in the slot, and in deeper alignments without melting down in space. He plays through contact, he finishes, and he changes how offenses set their protection when he creeps down late. You've watched enough football to know the difference between a safety who gets the tackle and a safety who ends the drive. Dugger has been the second kind. Now for the update that reset the board and sent every front office back to the calculator. The Patriots moved Dugger to the Steelers this week for a late-round flip, and New England is reportedly eating a big slice of his 2025 salary. That's the twist that matters for Detroit because it answers two questions at once. First, it confirms the market price for a proven third safety hammer wasn't a premium pick. Second, it shows there's a pathway to absorb a veteran safety without torching the cap if the sending team carries cash. Why does that help us if the player already moved? Simple. It defines the lane for any follow-up call before the deadline, and it sketches the road to March if an in-season deal just isn't there. Dugger's value comes from role clarity. On this roster, he's not stealing snaps from Branch. He's unlocking Branch and protecting Joseph. Picture our big nickel with Dugger shaded tight to the core on early downs, erasing tight ends and closing cutbacks. Picture dime on 3rd and 6 with Branch in the slot, Joseph on the roof, and Dugger flexed as the robber looking to jump the glance from a big body in the seam. That's not a luxury move. That's playoff insurance against teams that live in 12 personnel and hunt matchups. It also gives Shepherd freedom to bait protections, bring the nickel off the edge, drop Dugger to replace, spin late to too high, force the quarterback to hold the ball, and let the rush finish on time. If you ride with this kind of breakdown, tap subscribe, drop a like, and stick with me. The payoff is at the end because this isn't rumor bait. It's about how Detroit keeps the standard we set when this era began. Depth matters because games compress in December. A third safety who tackles like a linebacker changes how you call red zone. It means you can win the low red without selling the farm. It means Shepherd can squeeze the run without living in single high every time. It means tight ends don't bully the sticks on the pivot and the stick nod. The numbers back it up across Duggar's career. Heavy box and slot usage, regular blitz calls, and a history of finishing plays without whiffs that break the drive's spine. The Steelers grabbed him because they needed immediate help after injuries, which also tells you something else. When smart teams make these moves, they're not buying fantasy box score flashes. They're buying alignment versatility and a floor of reliable fits. Now, what would it take for Detroit, now or later? In season, the only honest path would be a quick flip if Pittsburgh wanted to monetize a distressed asset. That's rare, but it has happened in years where a team bridges an injury week, then moves the player again. More realistic. Keep the line warm. Do your pro scouting on every rep he takes in black and gold, and circle March if his deal structure allows the exit everyone is reporting. That puts you in a bidding room with a clear number, not a panic number, and it keeps your 2026 cap clean. From a pure football standpoint, the fit is obvious. Duggar lets Branch be Branch, aggressive, disruptive, free to trigger, while Joseph commands the back. It trims down your weak side alley errors on 1st and 10 and gives you an enforcer in 3rd and medium when opponents try to bully a nickel with a 245-pound tight end. And if you've watched us since September, you know those are the exact snaps that decide games when legs are heavy. That's the old Detroit feeling I started with. The version that didn't just play hard, it played smart, it closed windows early, and it fed the building with stops that felt like touchdowns. I also hear the counterpoints, and they're fair. You don't overpay for a veteran safety when Branch and Joseph are your core. You don't block a young player who's earning special team stripes and starting to see defensive work. And you definitely don't gamble late picks for a short-term rental unless the needle moves in January, not just the headline in October. That's why this update helps. The Steelers' price sets the ceiling, and the Patriots' willingness to carry cash sets the template. For Detroit, the right move is measured. Keep winning, keep coaching up the room, and if a window opens before the deadline at a number that matches the board, you move. If not, you attack the market in March with cap strength and role clarity as your pitch. Fans, I want your take right now before the close. Do you value a heavy-duty third safety enough to spend a late pick or a mid-level free agent number if it locks our red zone calls and protects the nickel? Or would you ride internal growth and save resources for edge and corner in the spring? Drop it below because I read everything and I'll bring your best points into the next show. Here's the bottom line. Duggar moving tells the truth about this market. Tough, versatile safeties with box-to-slot range still come at reasonable draft cost when money is shared. And the right fit in Detroit makes our floor scarier in the games that count. If a deadline swing presents itself, I'd support it if the cost mirrors this week's number. If not, I'd be aggressive in March. Either way, the identity stays the same. Physical, connected, assignment-clean football. The version of the Lions that makes this city believe because it turns long fields into punts and long nights into wins. That's the update. I'm here for the climb, and I know you are too. If you want more of this, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with the one Lions fan in your circle who loves trench talk and secondary chess as much as you do. We've got a run to build, and I'll be here every step of the way.